Hi everyone, hope you all are doing well and staying safe. My name is Bharati Aravindan and I am a Venture Programs intern at the Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship. Today we'll be walking through what a Pitch Dingman competition Fearless Ideas pitch should look like, and the pitch deck that you'll be seeing in the background addresses the underrepresentation of BIPOC women in the restaurant business. I will say upfront that a majority of the statistics throughout this presentation are made up for the most part, so please don't use them. But getting right into it, starting right off the bat, we have a quick title slide with the company name and a nice visual to give the audience a vague idea of what the business will be about. We then jump right into the problem. For this slide, you want to talk about the core 2 to 3 problems that sparked your idea and why they exist. This slide should answer what problem your venture will be addressing and solving, and really show that you understand the pain of your future customer. Further delving into the problem, up next, you want to explain the scope of the problem. What does this problem mean in the grand scale of things? This slide drives home how the business idea is related to racism in business. Feel free to drive home the impact your business will have at the intersection of racism and mental health, business, and/or tech, and really essentially tying it back to the Fearless Ideas prompt. This slide offers some statistics and details to the problem that was previously stated. Adding visuals like this and keeping text as concise as possible will really help keep your audience engaged and become more invested in your idea. Now, given the problem and pain points you and others have experienced, this is finally your chance to explain your aha moment. Explain how you plan on solving the problem and addressing your paying customers' needs. This is one of the first times the judges will be hearing about your idea, so you really want to explain its characteristics and how it's going to solve the problem that you just talked about. Make sure to tie it back to the topic of racism and how it's addressing the problem. Now, this type of slide is certainly not necessary, but sometimes adding statement slides like this can help point out anything you think is really important. After having told your audience about the problem and how you plan on solving it, you should now start to explain who is going to use it. Here we have a market sizing graph with a TAM, SAM, and SOM. You don't have to use this method for sizing your market, but it's certainly an option. Regardless of what you use, this should provide a sense of just how big of a problem you're solving and how far and wide your solution could be. A great resource for this sort of information is VBIC, which you can find on the UMD Library website. Now, with such a large market, competition is inevitable. Competitors probably already exist, and on this slide, you need to explain why you are the best of them all. Explain why your solution is better, cheaper, and/or faster, and what your hard to replicate competitive advantages are. Here you can see I've used a competitive matrix, but you can also use competitive checkboxes that depict why your solution is the best. Now, as a part of your pitch, you also want to include who exactly is going to be using and paying for your product. Describe them in as much detail as possible, whether that be by location, race, age, gender, eating habits, or anything in between, really. And also be sure to have a clear why now. The best companies answer this question because it explains why your solution hasn't been built before and why now is the perfect time to do so. Up next, I would personally argue is one of the most important slides. If you don't have a profitable business, then you're not going to succeed. Here you want to explain how your company plans on making money besides donations and grants. How do you plan on thriving and excelling in the market? A good way to do this is by writing out your revenue, expenses, and ultimate profit based on one unit so that when you scale, it'll be just more profitable. We understand that in order to thrive and become the best, everyone needs a little help, and that's exactly why we're here. This slide should explain how exactly you plan on using the $5,000 of prize money if you win, and in turn, how it will help you with your next step for the business. Last, but certainly not least, you want to include your team. Here, you'll be explaining who you are and why you are the best person to be doing this business. What's your title, your background, affiliation to UMD, and most importantly, what makes you qualified to be running this business? Behind every successful business is a successful entrepreneur, so explain why that's you. End with a contact slide, just in case judges have any questions or, want to learn how to invest in your company. But in all seriousness, if you have any questions about the Fearless Ideas track or what we do at the Dingman Center overall, please feel free to email Lottie. Her email is on the slide, lbyram@umd.edu, or visit our website. So some final thoughts. Don't forget to use a lot of visuals. Make sure you have proper lighting. Mine might not be the best right now, but try to do as best as you can. Have a clear background. I'm using a virtual background. Hopefully, maybe I tricked a few of you. So virtual backgrounds are great, but if that doesn't work for you, make sure that you have a clear background with you. And tell a story. That is what will engage people the most. And last but certainly not least, be yourself. Judges want to see how you can change the world and support you in the journey. I'd also like to reiterate that a majority of the statistics in this presentation are made up, so please don't use them. But good luck, and I hope to see you at the final pitch event.